What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing the past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is the healing technique that we've now been teaching it, well, since 2002, that's 12 years.
What if you could time travel with them? Visit mythical places or angelic realms, other worlds, other galaxies. Help others to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT, and now you can learn her method by going directly to dolorescannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS.
Established over 100 years ago, Watkins Books is one of the world's oldest and leading independent bookshops specializing in esoterica. We have the widest selection of esoteric books in the UK, and our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to assist you in a unique ambience of our shop. So come and visit us in the heart of London as we're open every day.
The More Show is supported by Mindscape, Paranormal and UFO Matrix magazines, available for download on all major digital platforms. The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching the UK's only alternative late night talk show, and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. For the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. On today's show, I'm joined with Alexandra, who is the co-creator of her company, Angel Chatter. Angel Chatter offers a wide variety of products that are exclusively created with the intent to inspire and empower the user. Chris is an award-winning author, master teacher in the healing modalities of Reiki and IET. She's also a licensed crystal therapist, soul coach, and archangel enlightenment therapist. Now, Chris grew up near the ocean on the eastern shore of Delaware. Following a transformational journey to Glastonbury, England, more than a decade ago, she embarked on a personal journey to pursue her dream. Chris has since become a leading authority on angels and their healing powers. Alexandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. It's such an honor to be here.
Well, thank you for coming on and giving us your time today. It's great to finally meet you. I've done a bit of reading about yourself as well. Very, very interesting. Before we get into your latest book, Askfirmations, which is a great title, by the way, let's just dig into a little bit of your background as well. So,
Sure.
what started you on this path?
Oh, great question. I have always had a yearning to help other people. I've always, as you are very intuitive, I am as well. I'm a little Miss Know-It-All. I just kind of knew stuff, but I wasn't quite sure how I knew it. And it wasn't until I became an adult and did my own studies, I realized I had this very strong connection to the angelic realm. So my yearning to help people took on that whole angelic vibe, being able to do some channeling, being able to help people intuitively, and then offering them tools to help them along their way.
And what age did the channeling and the intuitive side sort of blossom? When did that start for you?
Oh, it probably was on and I've never been asked that question. That's a good question. I certainly shut down in my elementary school years like a lot of people because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be, I wanted to be liked. And it wasn't until I got married and had my own children that I realized there was a whole lot more out there going on. So it kind of snuck in little at a time. I've been blessed in never having a near-death experience or a catastrophic event where it opened up all at once. It's been this very slow blossoming.
Right.
My first big product are my angel oracle cards, and those have been out for about 3.5 years. And I didn't sit down with the intent, I'm going to channel a card deck. But I look back, I did. I wrote the entire deck, 44 cards and guidebooks in 2 weeks. So definitely channeled. And then the symbols that came about a year later were all channeled in one evening. So
Wow.
definitely, because for me, sometimes it just comes across as we're having this conversation. So I don't get into this trance state and start doing all sorts of unusual things. It just comes out of my mouth. So I don't really sit like that.
No. Okay, that's interesting as well. And do you feel that when you do that, do you feel like a door opens in a sense?
Oh, absolutely. It's so when I do client work, as an example, the more comfortable the client is with me. It's not as I know them personally, because that becomes a little bit more hard for me to give people I'm really close to a reading, as I'm sure as it would be for you, but to have them just relax and get into that little bit of a trust mode, or at least just to be receptive to answers. It just comes right out, different things that they can do. And sometimes I find myself, I'm arguing in my head with them. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that. I don't know. They're like, and I can't get past it until I say whatever it may be. And 9 times out of 10, they're going, wow, that was so spot on, which only helps me feel more confident, because I'm still human. I still can second guess of what I'm getting is real or not.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a lot of trust. But as you do this work for others, being a service to others, that gift will remain there, and it's only grown stronger over the years.
Exactly.
Okay, so what was your first sort of aha moment in sort of meeting, what as you call them, the angels?
Mm-hmm. I was having a phone reading years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. I was the only one at home. Husband was at work. The girls were at school. It was me and the critters were at home. And the reader called in some ascended masters and the angels, and she got to Archangel Ariel. And before I could realize what I was going to say, I went, "Oh, Pinky!" And I don't remember anything about the reading other than that. I remember looking around going, who just said that? And I'm going, it was me. And I shaking my head, scratching my head the rest of the day. I go to bed. My husband's actually traveling. So I said, okay, everybody that was at this reading today, front and center. And now expecting it, Ariel comes in. And I went, it's you. Because she's my guardian angel and resonates the color pink.
Right.
So as a child in the crib, not knowing the name Ariel, but knowing the color pink, I called her Pinky. So that for me was, oh my gosh, I'm not going crazy. I actually am talking to the angelic realm because I've been doing it. This is a confirmation that I had no warning or no control over. It just simply happened.
Okay, this very, very enlightening and also great information there for people that may be going through something similar as well, to go with
Sure.
that trust, because there was a lot of trust at the time, I'm guessing.
Oh, a tremendous amount of trust, because I grew up in a very linear world. My dad's this fantastic chemical engineer, developed formulas in college. My mom's a domestic goddess, and here I come, wings and halo girl. So not quite normal in the scheme of things. And my husband's an amazing man, but he's a CFO by trade, very linear. So me being very sensitive, intuitive, as you are, we marched to a different drummer. So certainly allowing myself to be comfortable and grounded in that knowing was a journey in itself.
Yes, I can only imagine. Okay. Now, obviously, your work. Would you say? Well, let me ask you. What is the core foundation of your work?
The core foundation of my work, let's say, as an example, you become a client of mine or you are a client. My only mission is to help to inspire and empower you, to give you that self-realization that you're worthy to have life on your terms, not my terms, your terms. As we take this to heart. When our daughters were growing up, we said, we don't care what you do for a living. And they would look at us with these big eyes. And we said, seriously, we don't. It has to have two requirements. One, it has to be legal. And two, you have to make enough money to live on your own, because you're not living with us the rest of your life. Therefore, do what you love. Don't do something to make us happy. Do what you love, because when you love what you're doing, everything else falls into place.
Yes, that's so true. Even though I suppose that sometimes it can be really testing. Um,
Of course.
yeah, yeah. What would it be? But that's great advice for kids. And are they?
Yes, they are. They're really our eldest. I'm in awe of both of my daughters in variety of ways. One has built her career using social media because it just comes so naturally to her. Companies courted her to work for them because of her natural expertise. Our youngest is so multi-talented. They're both extremely intuitive. She can draw like there's nobody's business, and she's just getting comfortable with that blessing of hers to be able to take it outside of, let me just show you what I did. So they are.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic, and I'm sure being born into your soul group as well. That's only propelling them more. In that direction of doing what you love, and very healing.
Hope so.
Okay, well, let's get into the angels in a sense. Now, how would you define an angel? What defines an angel to you?
Pure energy. In a nutshell, they're pure energy. Angels are not dead people. I'm going to put it out there now. We don't become angels. We become guides. Angels, the very word is defined as messengers of God. So they are here to serve. They are very funny. Anybody who works with angels and says they have no sense of humor really doesn't work with them. They really are, and they use humor a lot with me. Doesn't it get boring to have somebody just talk at you all the time? It's like, okay, wait, I already did that in school. I don't want to be continuing to do that the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So we have conversations back and forth, and they can be pretty hysterical at times, even to the point they'll say, I told ya. They will prod, they push, because they know what we really want to be doing. They know why we are here. We forget, right? Life takes over. We forget our mission many times. And when we start getting those feelings of being disgruntled, but knowing there's something better, they go out of their way to make things happen for us. And it's up to us to say yes or no. We have this great thing called free will.
Yes, absolutely. And do you feel that the angels that you communicate to, they sometimes are, coming from different levels, in a sense that, I don't know if you can go down this road, but maybe the idea that there's potentially infinitive levels to go to when we cross on,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
they're coming from very high levels?
Absolutely. So, like, one of the angels I work with a lot is Metatron. And the highest level of Metatron that's known is the right hand of God. Very boring, very, very smart. But it's kind of like, have you ever seen that movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where the
Yes.
teacher's up there, Bueller, very monotone? That's Metatron at that level. Really, really smart, really lovely angel, but there's no personality. It's very static as far as how the messages come to me. The lowest level of him is an ascended master, as being here in human form and reach such levels of enlightenment. Totally gets being human, totally has a really almost warped sense of humor at times. So I can tell the differences between the two. And it was interesting. I did a radio show, oh gosh, I guess in the last year. And I had never been asked this question before. She goes, "Can you tell me a little bit about each of the angels that are in your deck? Just a little bit." I said, "Okay." And it was interesting for me to notice how my body slightly shifted, how my voice changed, not noticeably, but for me, I could tell a difference as each one came in to be talked about. So there's a definite energy shift with each one, depending on who I'm working with at the moment.
Oh, that's very interesting. So as you bring them
Yeah,
through, that's very noticeable. Yeah, well, that just says a lot, doesn't it? And
it does.
again,
It does.
yeah, how many are you working with potentially?
Let's see, there are 14 in my card deck, but potentially I just heard 20 to 30. I
Wow.
don't have names for all of them yet, but
No.
it's just they collectively chat with me. So there's this ongoing collective talk. But I'm finishing up my third book now, so I'm editing it again for like the fifth time. So as I go through each chapter, I focus on that angel and that angel's energy specifically, and then they'll come in to switch up a word or two or add something or going, yeah, that's really not necessary. That's overkill. So it goes, it's really a fun spot to be in.
Do you think we use the word angel as just a word to personify this energy, but actually it may not be that word, it may be something else, but that's how we've come to recognize it
Oh,
as?
oh yeah, because we're the ones that have given angels feminine or masculine energies. We're the ones that have given them wings and halo because they're energy, right? So the wings and halo started coming up in drawings and paintings. It was a way for others to discern the difference between the two. So as this collective mass consciousness took over, we now associate angels with wings and halo, right? We associate Michael as the protector, the warrior, because that's what we decided that he's supposed to do. Raphael's the healer. That's what we decided he's supposed to do. Gabriel has a trumpet to, toot his horn and to help you
Yeah.
toot your horn. So they all have these tools that I'm not saying we're wrong or whatever, but we have, through this unity consciousness, have assigned them what they look like and what they do.
So in a sense, that's kind of like some of the misconceptions that we've got of angels in a way.
Right. Right. And it's not, I don't want to really say it's a misconception because there's that, it's certainly a comfort level. So they are there, but there's so much more. So you can certainly start with what's most familiar and then build upon that and take it deeper or higher, depending on how you want to look at it, into their energy to really become more comfortable with what they do and how they are affecting you in your life.
Now your work has gone in a particular direction with the angels, but have you ever brought or thought about bringing teaching knowledge through, in a sense, or lost knowledge?
Yes. Yeah, I have. No, that will be another book that's coming out.
Right.
It is. They've shown me a wide variety of things that, um, honestly, it took me a while to process and to understand that, again, what I was seeing or what they were showing me was real. The symbols that are in my card deck are a little bit out there compared to other oracle card decks, because it's ancient language. They are delved into a bit more in the book that is coming out, hopefully February, March of this year.
Wonderful.
So I'm stepping into the ancient knowledge, and
Right.
I will be ready to process it and put it back out there.
Yes, yes. I mean, I like to call it as well, teaching knowledge as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sure that if they're coming from the level they are, they have access to powerful knowledge that would probably help us, in the way that the world is right now. But I'm guessing as well that they'd probably bring through stuff that we've been told before because we don't listen. We haven't listened.
That's it in a nutshell. We don't listen, Kevin. That's why, it's that pounding you the same message over and over. And how often have we heard you need to forgive? And like, no, I'm not forgiving. They did me wrong. No, it's when we forgive, we give back to us. So it's looking at those old messages. It's not a broken record. We just haven't gotten it yet at that mass consciousness level. And when we can get it, more we'll be able to get the higher energy. That's one of the reasons my stuff's coming out. It's taking some of those tried and true or some of those broken record messages perhaps, but putting, excuse the pun, a very different spin on it and weaving in some old knowledge. But the way I deliver is more in a little bit of a whimsical way, which allows people to get it a bit quicker versus being talked at.
And you'll reach the audience you're supposed to reach.
Exactly.
Just like other people in the same field that do angel work will reach the audience they're supposed to reach.
Exactly.
Not one person can reach everyone. And I think sometimes the way that you deliver the message and the beings coming through you have a particular flavor to attract the people that it will resonate most dearly with. It's strange how that works.
It's a beautiful thing how it works. It's really not strange. It's being your authentic self. As an example, the angels told me 2016 is the year of transparency. So what's not of service, of light, will be revealed. Ironically, it's the election year in the States. So that's going to be an interesting little scenario all on its own. Yeah. And those that are of light will also become visible. Then take it personally. What you are supposed to be doing or what you are destined to do will become more transparent. Things have been lining up in the last several years to get us to this spot. So we can become more empowered. And there can be 15 million angel teachers out there. And each one will be perfect when they're walking their talk. And they'll attract the perfect students and clients for them. And it's the same thing with any field.
Yes, absolutely, and that is so true. And I feel what you just said there about the energy that you feel for 2016, as in things becoming clear about what our purpose is, or if some of us have been waiting for that. I can definitely, say yes to that.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah. So that's very, very interesting, and it'd be great to get you back on for the new book as well. So thanks for sharing just a bit of that. I didn't expect that to sort of come up in the interview, but that's very, very interesting. What the direction that your work's going to go in as well. But obviously, getting back to today's book, which is Askfirmations. Now, that's the book that's just on the screen now. What a, it's an unusual name. Just explain the book to us.
Sure. So Askfirmations, you've heard of affirmations, right? I am
Of course.
abundant, I am wealthy, I am safe. The affirmations are positive statements. They're beautiful. I'm not saying they aren't, but they don't always work. How many times has somebody bought a lottery ticket? And right now it's huge. The Powerball is at record high here in the States. Everybody's going out and getting a lottery ticket and then proclaiming, I have the winning ticket. Yeah, nobody won last week. So everybody that's proclamating they have the winning ticket as an affirmation somewhere doesn't believe it. Somewhere deep in their psyche doesn't believe it. And the ego is this great little thing that always jumps in and loves to argue. I have the winning lottery ticket. Oh, really? How's that working for you? Let me know when you're not worthy. Who do you think you are? And we begin to believe all of these self-deprecating thoughts. But we're equally good at saying, why does this always happen to me? Why can't I ever find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right? Why does everything take twice as long? Why can't I ever make ends meet? If you think about those questions, they're not very positive. They're kind of whiny, right? So one of the laws of the universe says, I answer every question you ask literally. I don't interpret. So if I'm asking, why can't I ever make ends meet? Those financial ends will continue to get further and further apart because my question's getting asked as answered as I literally asked it. So Askfirmations are positive present tense questions. So it's an affirmation in the form of a question.
That is very different. That is interesting. Okay, so kind of what we're saying there is the universe only knows the word yes in a sense. So I'm not worthy. Yes, you're not. I'm not lovable. Yes, you're not. I have no money this month. I'm very, yes, you don't.
You're supported in all that energy you're putting out there.
Right. So we should be saying, I am abundant. I am loved. I'm so grateful for the amount of wealth I have in my life right now.
Right. So I am abundant was your first affirmation. So the ego is this great little guy. I call it the king of raspberry blowing. Jumps in and goes, really? You're abundant? Really? How's that working for you? What's the checkbook saying? What's that pile of bills on your table saying? And you begin to say, I'm abundant. And you start wanting to start screaming it, I'm abundant. And it continues to match you in caliber. And you begin to hang your head in shame. And the ego goes, yeah, got another one. I beat you. So the very first affirmation I recommend everybody to say, you can say it every single day, is why is it safe for me to be me? Think about that question. Why is it safe for me to be me? It's pretty powerful. Because the beauty of an Askfirmation, you don't have to look for the answer.
Okay. So I was going to just say back to you there when I mentioned those few things that, I get fed up with them sometimes in the sense that saying I am abundant, I'm loved, I'm looked after, because really what I want, is okay, I want whatever it is I might desire in the moment, maybe something small, maybe something big, but that is what I want to manifest in the moment now. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've not had an issue with manifesting recently, and I've not really questioned as to why, right?
Then don't.
I don't really understand it in some respects, except that I must be in a different place, but I don't know why. I think, happiness has a lot to do with it. Going with the flow has a lot to do with it. Being in tune and being of service has a lot to do with it. Yeah. But what have you found? What is some of the keys to Askfirmations? What, if someone says, right, let's go with relationship. That's the common one. Put money to one side. I want that right relationship. do we have to be careful of what we're attracting and really align with where we are in life in a sense as well, that that we don't want to attract the wrong type of relationship where it's just to be with someone because we're whatever the reason may be,
want
but
to be lonely, right? So there's
a soul partner relationship.
Certainly, great Askfirmations will be the first one. Why is it safe for me to be me? No, I haven't dated in a long time. We've been married over 30 years, so it's been a while. But when I remember back to dating and certainly watching my daughters date, there was always this dance going on. You put the best foot forward, you look your best, and eventually it gets tiring because that's really not a reflection of who you are. And the couple eventually breaks up because they weren't being the true reflection of them to begin with. They got back what they were putting out there, certainly energetically. So why is it safe for me to be me? It would be number one. Second would be, why am I worthy of all I desire? Because sometimes we look at people with these envious eyes and wishful thinking, oh, they have all the luck. Maybe it's not meant for me. That's silly. Everybody is meant to be loved. We're programmed to be loved. So then the last one would be, why is it so easy for me to give and receive love? Most people don't have an issue of giving love, especially if they're in the metaphysical arena. They're very giving. They're very much of service to the point they can give and they can give and they can give. They forget to receive back. There's only, well, here's my glass of water. It's fairly full right now, so I haven't drunk from it yet. But if it's down here, it wouldn't quench my thirst for very long. So using us as that metaphor of a glass, we always have to allow ourselves to receive, to keep that vessel, us, full. So why is it so easy for me to give and receive love? It's a very magical, very empowering thing. And since doing that, again, been married 30 years, I've kind of known my husband pretty well, but it's gotten better. It's gotten deeper. The things we share are, you think after all this time, we would kind of know each other well, but the talk is even becoming a bit more personal and more intimate. Not in that sexual way, but what we want to do. And then using Angel Chatter, my company, as an example, really being able to pursue it as I've been shown by the angels of where it's going, but having that kind of conversation between my husband, who's my business partner in this, but being able to have that love go back and forth, being honored at all times.
Right. Yes.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot to take in what you've just said there. Yeah, there is. I mean, there's so many different ideas out there on affirmations and on manifestation. What would you say makes this different in a sense?
The difference is, the only thing you have to be aware of is the question. So in affirmation, there's always that constant being in that right kind of energy in order to say it so it can manifest. There seems to be a lot of things that go along with saying affirmations. And they do work. I'm not saying they don't, but to make them more workable, more manifestation, is using it in the form of a question. It takes all the pressure off of you having to know. Because we can get in that mindset that I have to create this, therefore I have to be active doing whatever it is on a daily basis. By using Askfirmations, you keep the questions very general. So as an example, why is it so easy for me to have my dream job or my perfect job? Because me being anal and somewhat of a perfectionist, I would get upset if I forgot to list an attribute of my perfect job. if I listed, oh, why is it so easy to have my perfect job has this, it's this close to home, this is my salary, these are my benefits, these are my kind of coworkers. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I would really love a company car, but they know, the universe knows what your perfect job is. So by simply asking, and the only thing you have to do is to allow yourself to be open to the endless possibilities that can come in. If we knew how to do it, we would be doing it already. So obviously there's something that we're not aware of that they would like to present to us. We're only aware enough that we used an Askfirmation to help us within this scenario.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're making it happen in a sense by actually going out there and physically doing it, but you're just stop me if I'm wrong here, but you're kind of then allowing the universe to do its part as well. I mean, you can't say, okay, I want to, get that new high definition, ultra high definition Blu-ray player, and I'm going to save up for it. But if you're not going to go and earn the money for it or find a way to save up for it, you're not going to get it. But right. How? I'm just trying to get just in my head how this works. So what you're saying is. Leave that as an example.
Askfirmations generally, or I don't think I've used it yet for a specific item.
Okay.
I'm using them. It's a great idea, though. So why is it so easy for me to have my perfect TV?
Right.
Okay, so leave it at that. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the winner of some store contest you didn't even know exists. You don't know. That's the whole thing. You don't know how you can get it. But you are being aware enough, law of attraction, that this is an area you would like universal assistance in. This is an area you would like your life to be improved upon. So just by merely asking the question, I'm not saying it magically happens, but you are allowing magic to happen. So things can be orchestrated. But because you're aware of that perfect TV, that job, the perfect mate, you are now being more open to other ways to be there, get there, have that. Does that make better sense now?
Yeah. Would you always use the word why? Am I at the beginning?
Usually I do, because in the back of the book, I give about 4 pages of examples. And I'd say about at least 90% start with why. I don't know if you have children, but little kids are always like, why? Why does that happen? Why? And it's comical at some points, draining at others. But it allows that open-ended. Instead of, if I ask, what can I do to make this better? That's a lot more specific. I enjoy using the word why because for me, it allows more open-ended possibilities in order for that to happen.
And I suppose naturally, you're going to go out and do something to make a difference to get what you're looking for.
Of course.
But you may, what my point was earlier on is you may not know, I suppose, how you're going to get that, go down that ABC path to get what you're going to get, to achieve what you want to achieve. But you're going with the flow of the universe to help you while you do your piece as well. It's a two-way process.
It's very much of a union, very much of a partnership. I can't sit home and not even buy a lottery ticket and expect to win the lottery. You have to be proactive in it somewhere. You can't sit home in your grubby sweatpants and hair unwashed and expect, your perfect mate to come knocking at your door saying, hey, how are you? It doesn't happen. There is a responsibility on your end. But the responsibility is being receptive to various suggestions. Sometimes, I love this example. Our eldest daughter has a friend who grew up in the area where we currently live. And she always thought she wanted to get out. It was too confining for her. She, very, very intelligent woman. Turns out her husband grew up about a mile down the road. And she's back and living in this area.
How about that?
You don't know. You don't know how things are going to lay out. And she couldn't be happier.
but she didn't define the process. She just went with it. She knew what she wanted.
Right, because her grandparents, actually, their grandparents actually fixed them up. They knew of each other, but it wasn't, she thought she was going to meet, her Mr. Wonderful at some big city, because that's where she thought, think about those words I'm using, that's where she thought she was supposed to be. No, she's deliriously happy, living in a much quieter area.
Yeah.
So it's really funny. What we think we want isn't always what we really want.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not, right. It's not always for our highest good. And,
Right.
when we allow the universe in to do its magic, it always brings something that's much better than what we thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
okay. Well, all right. So someone that, for example, that wants to go to to do a master's course at university, they're going to put the footwork in to apply for that course. But
Right.
how do they know they're going to get scholarship? How do they know they're even going to be accepted to this prestigious university? Again, let's use Askfirmations. What would you say in that sense?
Oh, that's a good one. Why is it so easy for me to get in my perfect university? Why is it so easy for me to receive the scholarships that I qualify for? So you've noticed that when I came to the scholarships, I left out to know about them. Let's just skip that. You just want to receive them. So by stating that you are going to receive them, you will be led to the ones to apply for.
Well, that's powerful. Okay, you've done this before, obviously. That's very good.
Well, I have children too, so I've kind of been down that road with them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. So you can use this in any scenario. Now, and of course, the Askfirmations book, there's a lot more in there detail-wise than what we're able to discuss right now in the 20 minutes we've got left or less. Yeah.
Yeah, the book takes you on the journey of literally how it came to be, how I developed it, because we had a young man living with us who was actually born in the UK, came over very, very young, has a permanent green card, but mother abandoned him when he was younger, has no idea what hospital he was born at, so can't get his birth certificate. So kind of right now, no country claims him. That's number one. And then imagine anything other bad happening to him. It probably had. So he ends up in our lap. We take him in. And it was law of attraction right there in my face. Not being my biological child, I could kind of step back a little bit and not be so involved in his life. But he would throw out phrases left and right, like, why does life suck? I can't hold a job. So I started introducing affirmations to a whole new concept. And I threw out one, why I have a great job. So he'd look at me, I have a great job. You happy? And walk away. I'm like, all right, that's not going to work, because there was no positive energy going into that. And so I'm like, all right, guys, how do I help this kid out? So then I noticed that how he was asking questions, why does life suck, was manifesting. Why can't I hold a job? Was manifesting. I went, oh, starting to see some things lining up here. So I flipped around those not so positive questions and got him to start using positive questions.
Yes.
And the last time I heard from him, he had a very steady job. That wasn't a job, it was a career, loved it, and just had his first child. So not that
Incredible.
that is the hallmark of a stable person, but from where he was to where he is now, which is very happy, I'd say that right there is proof.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with the audience, and I think again what you were saying there really does validate the idea that thoughts and words are so creative, in the sense that if you think it and if you say it out, you are a master manifester.
Yes.
You came to planet Earth because you've reached probably a level of attunement where you can manifest easy, even though down here on this level it's very it can seem difficult, but it's that powerful, guys, that, you say it becomes we have to be careful of, not be careful of our thoughts, but just choose more, come
Be
from love
aware.
more, in a sense. Be aware, yeah.
Be aware of what you're especially saying. I'll take my dog for a walk pretty much daily, and I look around and I notice things, but I hear this ongoing conversation in my head. And I realize when I start saying my Askfirmations out loud, for me, they even have more power, because I'm not only saying it, but I'm hearing it. So instead of just thinking it, thoughts are powerful, but I believe words, what we say, has a stronger energy to it.
Can you use this as well in healing?
Absolutely. I don't see why you couldn't. Now, I do want to preface it by saying, we don't know why a client, as an example, has cancer. We don't know why. I don't want to wish anybody on with cancer or any other fatal disease, so I'm not going to use the word I. We don't know why another has a fatal disease. We don't know why what have they signed up for, as an example, in this life. Maybe it was to raise awareness of that disease. Maybe it was something that they agreed to so they could learn compassion. We don't understand, because we're human now. What we can use Askfirmations could be to better understand the whys. We could use an Askfirmation to help bring comfort within the healing. So as an example, taking a little bit abstract, one of my chatterers, as I call them, shared yesterday on the Facebook page that her dog had sucked on a wash rag that had antifreeze, which is deadly for dogs. And I was very quick to say, he's going to be healed, because we don't know the reason why he decided to do this. But we can certainly send in the angelic realm for healing, because not only will that cover the dog, but it covers everybody that's involved in that situation. Yeah. So why is it so easy for this situation to be healed? Why is it so easy to have compassion towards this? So, terrorist attacks, catastrophic natural disasters. We don't know why. We don't understand, especially for those that are empathetic or sensitive and very love focused. It's very hard to comprehend the whys, and it can be very easy to get angry at any situation, whether it's man-made or not. So it's allowing yourself to step back a little bit, look at a larger picture, and what good has come out of it. Every situation, there's always something. It may not sound right, but there's always some good that's come out of a situation. You may not see it right away, but there is. And the quicker we can step back and acknowledge it, we grow as a human. So hopefully that kind of an event wouldn't happen again.
Very difficult, isn't it, when you're going through the situation, whatever it may be, and the pain associated with it, and that not being able to forgive in the moment and everything because it's so raw. Right. Yeah. But I do get where you're coming from, in the sense of, we don't know why these atrocities happen, or why we end up with these horrible incurable diseases in a sense. But I think because to say that, well, this work can cure them. Well, actually, let's step back from there, because I don't like saying that. Yeah. But what we can do with this work is heal the process that you're going through, and the people around you in the sense, and that's just as important.
I think it is. I think in many ways it can be more important, because then it takes the stigma, it can take the onus off the patient and allow them to heal without judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just wanted to chuck that in there in the healing aspect, because
it's a great question.
I think all your work is healing in a sense, But just from that side of the healing as well, it's it's always interesting. Now, okay, if people are gonna have a look at your website, which is
angelchatter.com.
angelchatter.com. Now they can get in contact with yourself through that website for a reading.
Yes.
Okay.
For reading, all of my product offerings are on there. If you're involved in social media, Facebook specifically, I am there. I have a fantastic closed group called Angel Chatter. You'll know it's the group versus my business page because you have to ask to join. And I keep it sacred space. It's honestly, the feedback I get, I don't think there's another group out there like it. I'm gonna get a little teary-eyed. I am so blessed to have this group of people that are involved in the group, that really support each other, that are there. Many have become physical friends, realizing they lived miles apart but had never met until they joined the group. So it's amazing. It's an amazing place.
That's really special that you've created that community. That's fantastic. So there's a safe space there to be able to talk about these subjects, which is great. Okay, and for those who would like to communicate with their angels themselves as well, just to experience what that would feel like, what would be some very quick bits of advice?
Ask, and then allow yourself to receive. Ask and allow yourself to receive the answers. I'm sure maybe you have found a white feather on the ground, or a feather. That's the angels saying hello. Or maybe you notice number sequences. That's an angelic connection. Of course, I recommend my Oracle card deck. Shameless plug there. But it's get informed, study. My next book coming out, not Askfirmations, but the one after that will be coming out this year. It's called Chatterology, how to know you're chatting with the angels and not yourself. So there is going to be a little bit more in-depth study of each of the angels that are in my deck. So those 14 angels specifically, and giving you tools and giving you steadfast signs of how they are already interacting with you.
Okay, wonderful. And what would you say now? What would you say is potentially an important message that you could leave the audience with?
Oh, there's so many. The first two that come to mind is that you are worthy to have all that you desire. Let that sink in. You are worthy to have all you desire, and you are safe to be you. There is no one else like you, and that's such a great thing, because the world needs you as you are. The world needs you, your quirkiness, your freak flag, your love, your joy, your wisdom, your integrity, your love, as you are. Not like me, not like you, but as you are.
Well, that's a very, very beautiful message. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, all I can say is, Chris, Alexandra, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been so much fun.
Well, we've come to an end on tonight's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on all past and upcoming guests on the show via themoreshow.co.uk, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.